Are you interested in using Shopify as a freelancer? I have the amazing Catherine Charlton here with me today to talk about doing just that. Catherine, welcome to Free Mama TV.
Thank you so much, Lauren. I'm so excited to be here.
Now, you were amazing because you kind of came up a little bit through the Free Mama world and you were very persistent at reaching out to me and saying, Lauren, like, you don't teach this. And I don't. I'll be honest, I don't. I have like zero experience when it comes to e-commerce. I've always really worked in a service provider space. And you were like, Lauren, there is opportunity here. Like, please let me help you help more people. And so that's what we are here to do today. So before we dive into all things Shopify, Catherine, why don't you just kind of like tell everybody a little bit about who you are, how you came up through freelancing, and what got you turned into a Shopify expert?
Absolutely. So I was pregnant with my first daughter in about 2018, and I remember sitting on my couch in my living room, and I found Lauren's webinar, and I was like, "This is crazy! You can make money from home. What? Oh my gosh!" So I watched it. I took notes. I was actually at home working at my full-time job at the time, so like, don't tell me old bosses. But I was like in a meeting, also watching Lauren's webinar. I was like,
The
"Oh my
statute of
gosh,
limitation is up on that. You can't,
it's
you can't
fine.
go.
It's
Yeah, it's fine.
fine." And I was like, "Oh, I have to do this," because I knew the second that I got pregnant, there was no way that I could go back to corporate. I wanted to stay home, raise my babies, and we also had just gotten a new puppy too, so obviously got to stay home for that. So I started my freelancing business like the next week, putting all of Lauren's topics and tips into action, and I got my first client. So I just started doing just like general VA work. I do have a background in accounting and finance, and also customer service. And I knew that I did not want to do accounting and finance. It just wasn't a good fit. So I just kind of dove into the world of general VA. I didn't know anything about it. Lauren had kind of hinted at a few things in her webinar, and I was like, I'm in it. Let's do it. So I through all the free mama, I found a new client. I went like deep into it, and I got a few other clients just doing general VA stuff all while I'm still pregnant. So luckily, I was able to grow my business after I had my first little girl, and I was able to not go back to my corporate job after maternity leave was up. So I was able to
Amazing.
stay home with my babies. It was unbelievable, unbelievable. And I told my husband that, and he's like, "Sure about that?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I can't go back, can't do this." So I just kept building and building and building, and I got more clients. I was kind of putting feelers out to all of the different people that I was working with. Hey, like, can I help you with this? Or what other things do you think I could help you with? I was doing email management, social media management, just general outreach, sales, stuff like that. And I knew in the back of my mind, I was really curious about design. I'd never
Okay.
had any interest in any of that before, but I was like, "Hey, I'm a new person now. I'm a business owner. I can do whatever I want." So I decided to just kind of dive into that, and I started with website design for a few of my clients. It went really well, and then I was getting a few more clients, more referrals, and I learned that a lot of people wanted to get into the e-commerce world because it just started blowing up, and I didn't know anything about it. But I was like, of course, yeah, I can design websites. I can do Shopify. I don't even know what that is, but I got it. At the time, I thought like Shopify and Spotify, the podcasting platform, I thought they were the same thing. I was like, I'm just gonna learn it. It'll be fine. I learned very quickly not actually the same thing, not at all. I looked at it. I remember I had my first client. I was like talking it up. Yeah, I've been doing web design forever. I can totally do it. And I opened up Shopify and I was like, what have I done? I totally get it. This is confusing. I don't know any code. I don't know how to do this. So being the crazy stubborn person that I am, I just dove in. I did all of the courses, all of the YouTubes, all the everything that I could find, and I learned Shopify to the T. And I found that it was so cool. Like I'm nerding out right now, but it really is like it's really awesome. It's super cool to learn once you get past that overwhelming like initial like what is this? It's totally different than any other website builder, which is good because e-commerce is totally different than any other
Mhm,
website.
mhm.
So that's kind of how I got it. And then I just kept getting more referrals from other clients. I actually have built free stores for the same client just because it's such a good process. So yeah, so that's kind of how I got into Shopify.
I love it. Shopify, not Spotify. Are there any fun facts that we need to know about Shopify? Like, do you happen to know, is it number one in the marketplace for e-commerce platforms? Do you know any of those kind of fun facts about
Oh,
Shopify? I'm
I
putting
know
you on the
all the
spot.
fun facts.
Okay, I'd love to hear some of them, honestly, especially since you started from not knowing the difference between Spotify and Shopify. What do you now know about this platform? And what does it mean about opportunity for virtual assistants?
Sure. So Shopify is the number one platform for all e-commerce. It essentially is like it will hold your hand through all stages of your business. So whether you're starting out or you already have a multiple 6, 7 figure business, Shopify will grow with you, which is awesome. No other platform can tell you that. There have been, I believe, don't quote me on this, but like at least 2 million stores on Shopify. And I believe within the next 4 or 5 years, we're talking trillions of dollars in Shopify funds just from shops being on
Revenue
Shopify.
passing through. Yeah,
Yeah,
crazy.
exactly. Yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
definitely blowing up, definitely something you need to get into now, because it's just going to keep growing. Everyone's
Yeah.
already shopping online. So it's the time to get in this now.
So, what are e commerce business owners outsourcing? Like, what is it specifically that they need help with? You talked a
Sure.
little bit about what that first client came to you, like it was confusing, but what, like, tangibly are the tasks that you're doing when you're inside the platform?
Sure, great question. So essentially, you can do everything, anything from just normal website design. You can add in products, you can add in the product descriptions to make it easy to read and convertible. You can also add in, do just the back end stuff. So if you do have that accounting and finance background like I do, you can go in and do the accounting. You can tie it into QuickBooks. I know a ton of people use
Wow,
QuickBooks. There are so many integrations that you can use within Shopify to make your business smooth that VAs are hired to do. So if you're not even interested in the Shopify like designing aspect, there's so many back end things that just a normal business owner would need help with. So
that's
even the
awesome.
email management, there's apps to do email management, social media, sales, OBM, anything, really anything a business owner needs, you can use it in Shopify too.
Yeah. And I even heard bookkeepers, that could be a
Yeah.
specific niche for them to
Oh
learn a
yeah.
little bit about Shopify to be dangerous to make sure that
Mhm.
everything is working properly. Because obviously, this isn't really the sexy part about doing business, but it is one of the most important parts is understanding what's happening with your revenue, especially when it comes time to paying
Oh,
taxes. So what
oh,
do you, it's obvious that this is something you get excited about, which I'm the same way. You can always tell when I start like yelling and my hands start moving, you can tell I'm like really excited about something. What do
me
you
too.
love about working in Shopify versus like when you were still doing general VA management? Like at what point did you go, okay, I love this? And what are those specific things that you love? And are there any downsides to this platform or doing work, working with Shopify?
Sure. So I'll start with the things that I love. So really what I really enjoy is meeting a client, talking them through kind of what is working in their specific niche and what isn't, and
Mhm.
then talking through what they want to see, what their clients would like to see, and then creating that. The coolest thing is giving a mock-up to the client and be like, hey, here's kind of what we talked about. Here it is like live version. What do you think? And then sometimes I even do it like a video chat like this, like just see their eyes light up like, oh my gosh, like this is
Awesome.
amazing. And then having those first few sales come in. There's actually a fun, one of my favorite aspects of Shopify is you can have a little pop-up that whenever you get a sale, you'll get a little pop-up on your phone, like, oh, you made a
Yeah.
commission or you made a sale or whatever. Like, how cool is that? Like, that's just the best thing to see. So
That's
I
so
just love that
exciting.
aspect of seeing someone's vision come to life and then having that vision become super profitable. But some of the things that I don't necessarily love about Shopify, it could be a pro and con, but they do update their platform a lot. So I believe it's every quarter they have new implementations that they add in, or they change a few things in the back end. So instead of having the customer information under this tab, they're going to move it over here.
Okay.
So while that's awesome and may make more sense to them, it's a little harder to find for myself and for my clients. So that is kind of a negative there. Also, some of the integrations can be a little wonky sometimes, but again, technology, what are you going to do?
Hmm.
Integrations can be wonky anywhere.
Yeah.
And then another thing that I think a lot of people aren't really aware of with Shopify is that you have to get certain apps. So if you want a specific integration, so like for instance, QuickBooks, you have to get the QuickBooks app to integrate with that. And it's I will say that it's very seamless. That part is awesome. So you don't have to like get a Zap and do all of that nonsense.
Yeah.
I've done
The
that
third
and
party.
that's
Oh,
just,
yes.
oh no, it's worse.
Yes.
Yes. So while there are apps, the integration process is much simpler.
That's awesome. That's perfect. Who do you think, speaking of all these different things, we've talked about so many different niches of freelancers that could work with Shopify owners or e-commerce
Yeah.
business owners. What do you think are the strengths that you have or that you've learned or you've developed that maybe would show someone like you are probably really well suited to do this type of work? Something I just heard you say is like, you have to be kind of flexible, like you have to be willing to adapt, and somebody who maybe isn't afraid to learn or relearn technology. I know there's someone on my team who loves that. She's in more the funnel design space, but she's
Nice.
always down for like a technical challenge, wherein I know some people are like, they hate that. That's like very paralyzing. So what are some of those strengths or skills that would set a virtual assistant up for success to tackle Shopify?
Absolutely. So I would definitely say, kind of like you said, flexibility. You need to be okay with things sometimes changing. You need to also be okay with things sometimes not working, because that's just technology. It's going to happen. Your site might be down. Luckily, it barely happens with Shopify, but it does happen. So you need to be kind of flexible in that realm. I would also say someone that communicates really well, because if you are doing all the VA back end work, you'll need to communicate not only to necessarily your client or your customer or even your own shop. You will need to communicate to your customers or if there's a shipping delay. So communication in that realm, I would definitely say is very important. Also organization, really. So if you're really into organizing, even process management, just making sure that everything kind of goes as it should, from A to Z. I think those are really important skills. I'll be very honest and say that you do not need to have graphic design skills. I do not. I know we were just talking, you and I do not, we're not graphic designers at all.
No.
You don't need that. You also don't need necessarily any branding skills, because Shopify actually has some branding tools built into it for free. Even logo design, which a lot of people don't know, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And then I would say if you just are interested in learning and you're not afraid to kind of try something, see if it's working, and then maybe it's not, go back to the drawing board, try something else. You just need to be adaptable, I guess, would be the best way to say
That's awesome. I know that people watching this probably are like, okay, this is great. Awesome conversation. Love what you're doing, Catherine. But like, can you walk me through what some of this actually looks like? I know I'm a super visual learner, very hands-on. I like to get, my sleeves rolled up and I have to kind of do it to learn it. We're actually working with some new technology in my business right now. And I'm like, I could outsource it all, but I'm like, I need to get in there or I'll never really understand it. So are you cool if we do like a little over the shoulder of some of the setup stuff that you do in Shopify?
I would love that. That'd be awesome.
Awesome. All right, let's dive in.
Just to save time, I've already added this in to my Shopify backend. So when you do start a Shopify store, I'm a Shopify partner, so I can waive the subscription cost and that free 14-day trial for my clients. I recommend doing that because that's a great selling point. So when you do sign in, if you see this right up here, this is called your My Shopify URL. And that is really just what you need to sign into Shopify. It's not necessarily what will be your actual domain or what you'll search for in the search box. That we will sort out later. So this is the back end of Shopify, the admin stuff. Looks a little scary, but it's not, I promise. So we'll be going over orders later, products, customers, that's just where everybody will be. Finances, kind of this stuff we don't really need to get into right now. That's more of your client stuff. Online store, we will be checking out. We'll be making a store, sort of. So that's really cool. And then you can look into all the pages, navigation, preferences, and stuff like that. So right now, we're just going to look at settings really fast and go right here. So I've already done this for time's sake, but you want to make sure that you have the actual name of your shop right here. And then this is my address, but you also want to save your address here. I have a pro tip later that you guys will really enjoy. So you want to make sure that all the contact information is correct. All of this stuff is good, right? We'll be going over some of this stuff later too, but I just want to show you how much is in here and how essentially everything is done for you. And it's all right here, right at your fingertips. Super easy, not scary, and we can do it, okay? Awesome. So if you do already have a shop in a different store or a different platform, you can transfer to Shopify. You can buy a domain on Shopify, or you can just transfer something else like a Wix shop to Shopify. So here's my pro tip that I was just talking about. If you've already registered your business name with the government, You can set your legal business name and that address to your Shopify plan and then write off your plan as a business expense. So that will save you hundreds, maybe thousands, probably not thousands, but hundreds of dollars a year just by doing that. That's awesome. And that's a really great thing for your clients to know as well. We are hopping back in here. So as I said, this is just where you do all of your building. So the normal theme will be Dawn, which is fine. I've used that before. A lot of my clients do. But if you don't like it, if you want to kind of see what else is there, we can hop on down to free themes. Now, these aren't necessarily great, but there are just different options. And what's cool about Shopify is you can see what kind of stores would be good for each theme. So like this looks like it would be really good for a skincare brand, and this one would be good for a food that looks delicious. So food things. So just kind of keep that in mind. Free things, again, there's not that many, but that's okay because sometimes, you don't have a big budget, and that's fine. So there are other Shopify themes that you can purchase. These are luckily only within Shopify. So if you do kind of run into an issue, Shopify support will help you. There are other options where you can buy outside of Shopify. I don't recommend that off the bat because you have to reach out to their theme support for help. And sometimes they suck. I'll be very honest. So Shopify support is much better if you do want to go for a paid theme. It's a one-time deal. And sometimes I would say the ranges are from 150 to 300-ish. So just kind of make sure that you let your clients know that. So what you can do is if say we like this one, we'll just click into it. They have some like demo stores. You can see how it actually works before you purchase. And what I really like to do, sorry, I'm trying to move all these Zoom things around, is look at the reviews. So, oh, wow, 100% positive. That's really a great theme. So maybe I want to look at that, or maybe I want to bring that to my client. Say, hey, I think this would be good. Here's why. I am very anal about looking at all the reviews for everything. So I bring that to my clients and they really like that too. So there's another little pro tip. Okay, so now I'm going to tell you the secret of how to make a profitable Shopify online store. You guys ready? You don't need to reinvent the wheel, okay? If you guys know Catherine Jones, she kind of went over this too. And she is like, her and Lauren, I need to like have 2 more kids and name them after them. Like they have changed my life. It's insane. So anyway, seriously, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. So what does that mean? It means that there are 99% of the time, there's going to be a store out there that's already doing what you want to do. And that's great. That shouldn't like diminish what you want to do. You just need to kind of see what they're doing and then do it. Implement their strategies. But I want to make it very clear, don't copy them. That's not cool. That's not going to work. Just figure out what kind of things they're doing, how they're approaching their clients, what their stores look like, and just implement that into your theme, into how you want to approach your client. Because they're already doing it. It's obviously working. Why are you going to reinvent the wheel? That's a waste of time. Don't do that. You don't have that much time. Okay, so let's just do a really quick example. Let's say that I want to be a skincare expert. So I just did a really quick search right before this call, and there was Meaningful Beauty, Dime Beauty, and Proactive. Okay, there's just three skincare experts. So to do this customization, we're not reinventing the wheel. We just want to look at 3 simple aspects. Okay, the layout, the content, and the colors. So let's look at the layout. The layout and the content, sometimes those kind of go hand in hand. So we'll just kind of mush them together for time's sake. Okay. So we are going to, so Meaningful Beauty is the purplish one, Proactive's in the middle, and then Dime Beauty's on the end. So as you can see the layout, we're looking at the top. It's called a hero image. So there's products in nearly every single one. There's people using it, they're happy. There's buy buttons in every single one, or there's a discount in it. And then if you move down, there's icons, there's different colors. They're telling you how great everything is. And then you can see some bundles of the products. So you kind of get what I'm saying. You can see generally overview, everyone has the exact same things. And if you scroll down on each of the pages, you see reviews, you see pictures, you see people using them. Even on the Dime Beauty one, you can see that there's a doctor reviewing it and telling them how great it is. You can see like an Instagram feed on the, oh, I'm sorry, that was Proactive. On the Dime Beauty, you can see an Instagram feed of real people using the products. That's great. That's what you want. You can see that in every single one. So you kind of see how we're doing this audit. You're seeing what the big players are doing, and then how you can implement that into your store. Okay, so we kind of went through the layout and the content all together. So we'll kind of push through that. And then finally, the colors. I think this is really interesting because as you can see on the Proactive and the Dime Beauty, they both have that like light tannish color, which is kind of surprising to me, but I guess it's is like a clean color or whatever. And then on the Meaningful Beauty, there's still kind of that tan color, but each one has another brighter poppy color. So the Meaningful Beauty, that's purple. Proactive, that's blue. And then for Dime Beauty, that's more of a black. So as you can see, there's really just two colors. And then they all have that light tan color and then one poppy color. Okay, so you guys kind of understanding what you need to do if you want to be a skincare person? Get a big hero image, have people looking at your products, being happy, doing reviews, having just maybe a light tannish color and then another pop of color, maybe a pink or an orange or something, just whatever your brand is. Okay, does that make sense? And how easy was it? That was like what, maybe 2 minutes. I talk really fast, so if other people were doing it, probably not that long, but still like 5 minutes maybe. Guys, we just made a store. Like, it's not that hard. You can do it. Okay, so let's recap it really fast. You want to make notes of the layouts and where the most popular things are from your niche. Take notes of what kind of color combinations there are, and then make sure to utilize the same type of content and the flow used, because obviously it's working, right? Cool. So let's hop into Shopify again, just really fast. We'll show you how to edit that to actually do that within Shopify. We'll create a new page and then update that onto the menu. It might sound really scary, but it's not, and we can go fast. Okay, got it? Sweet. Okay, so we are going to hop back into the free Mama Squad Shopify store, and we are in this online stores section right here. So as I said earlier, let me move some zoomy things around. So as I said earlier, we are just using the Dawn theme. That's just a standard one. That's totally fine. I do want to say that when you are picking a theme, make sure that it's 2.0 optimized. Shopify did this thing a few months ago. They were like optimizing everything, which is great. But for people that are using old themes, kind of sucks to upgrade. So if you're starting out on 2.0, you don't have to upgrade, keep it going. Cool. So we're just going to click right here into customize. And now this is the page builder. Like I mentioned before, if you're familiar with drag and drop stuff, this is pretty much the same. If you're not, that's okay. It's not that hard to learn. So what I really like about Shopify, it's a new thing, is that when you're scrolling down, you can kind of see, I don't know if you can see the blue outline, that tells you what you're clicking on, what you're working on. So that's kind of cool. I like that. So let's say, so if we're doing the Meaningful Beauty or the Dime Beauty stuff, we already have that hero image set up. Okay, that's Dawn theme. That's great. So what we can do is just go over here, change that color, that cover image, and then updates. And what's something else that's really cool is that everything is live. All the changes are live. We can say, awesome. And that's what it's going to look like when it's on a big screen, when it's for sure. And then if you don't like that, nah, we'll just take it. And it's gone. Okay. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. You guys can do this. This isn't hard. So let's scroll down and just say, okay, well, we didn't really see this talk about your brand, I don't really like that. So what we're going to do is click right here and hide it, and it's gone. Okay, easy. So let's say, there's some things that I want to add, but I don't see a section here. So let's go down here to add section. So this will show you all of the sections that are available within your theme. This will vary theme to theme, but generally they're all the same. So we have contact forms, we have email signups, which I think is very important. And then we can scroll down to see all of the ones. So maybe we want to add in a video or another multi-column, things like that. So make sure that you kind of sift through and see what kind of aspects you want. So finally, we're going to go into our theme settings and make it more of our own. So we click down here, and this is where we kind of make our branding into our Shopify store. You only have to do this once. You don't have to keep changing and doing on every single page. So that makes it really nice. So we can change all of the colors that we want, make sure it matches our brand. If we're doing that beauty store, put some white tan in there, maybe a pop of color, just saying. And then here, we can change our typography. These are just fonts and sizes and stuff like that. We can also upload our own individual fonts. So if this is all Google fonts, and if there's a Google font, or if there's not a Google font in there that you like, you can upload your own font into Shopify, which I think is pretty cool. Really, really customizable. So then let's see, we'll scroll down a little bit. I think it's really important to have your favicon. And I'm not sure if you guys know what a favicon is. It's this little like Shopify thing right here. It just kind of establishes your credibility and makes you more of an expert in your field if you have that, because a lot of people don't, I've noticed. So just make sure you throw that in there. And if you don't have it on your current website, I'd recommend throwing it in there. If you need help, feel free to reach out. I know all about FabCon. Finally, you want to make sure that you have your social media links in there as well. Again, if you just stick it into this section right here, it'll populate all of your pages and you don't have to do it more than once. Cool. Awesome. See, was that easy? Was that hard? Was that scary? I don't think so. I mean, I could be wrong, but I think that was pretty easy, right? You guys are smart ladies. You wouldn't be here if you weren't. You can do this. It's not that hard. Okay. Awesome. So we just sort of went through and made a homepage. We can edit that however you want. You can type in things. Again, you can change the fonts. You can do all the things. So let's go back and I'll leave the page. Again, you'll need to save. The only thing I don't love about Shopify is that it doesn't automatically save. So it will click up that button and say, hey, you didn't save, make sure you save. What I like to do, this is really silly, but I put a timer on my phone like every 10 minutes. It's like, Catherine, save. Because I can't tell you how many times I've done a whole bunch of work and then it went away because it didn't save. But anyway, so we are going to go back into this Shopify admin and we're going to add a page. So luckily, whenever you add in a theme, the contact page right here, that's automatically populated. So you don't need to worry about that. So we'll just take a quick view of this contact page. Okay, this is what it looks like. It's standard. It's not bad. We can always edit it. At least it's there and you don't have to worry about it. Okay, so that's cool. And then as you can see, it's up here in the menu too. So what we're going to do is add a new page. I'm just going to show you just how to do it, but we're not going to make it super, super crazy because that will kind of vary. I didn't look at the about pages for the beauty industry, but we can if we have time at the end and we can make it just like that. Cool. So we are going to go into the pages again, and we are going to add a page. Cool. So let's do an About Us page. So we'll just type in the title right here, About Us. Say this is about. Cool. So as you can see down here, what I really like about Shopify is that it already has this preview of if you search for it in Google, this is what's going to pop up, which I think is cool. And you can edit it and do whatever you need to do. So this is about 140-ish characters, I think. So make sure that you kind of saturate with keywords, make sure there are SEO apps you can help if you are not an SEO person. I'm not a super SEO person, but that is just kind of helpful to know when someone searches, that's what's going to pop up. And what's really cool is that if you're having like a super sale or something, you don't want to tell anybody about it, but you want to get ahead of the curve, you can create the page and then you can hide it. And then you can set a visibility date. So if you want to have a sale for October, you can finish your page, you can hide it, and then set it for like in 4 minutes. Okay, so then it will automatically populate and it will show up on your website without you having to do anything, which is awesome. That saves a whole bunch of time. Cool. So we are going to save this page right up here. So now we've made the About Us page. So let's add it into our menu so people can search for us and see about us. So now we're going to go into, under the online store, we're going to go into navigation, and that's where all of your menus will be. So we're going to go into main menu right down here. And as you can see, the contact page was already added. So now we'll just add in another menu item. So click that. Type about us. We'll click into this link box, go to pages, because that's where we created it. And then there it is. So we'll add it. And again, we have to save. Cool. So now the menu is updated. So we will go back into our online store. So if you just click this little eyeball, that will pull up your store, your live store. And as you can see, I think all of my Zoom things are in the way. You can see about us. How cool is that? That's awesome. And if we click into that, there's the page that we made. Look at us. That took what? 3 minutes? Guys, this is amazing. You're amazing. We just did that. I mean, it's not the prettiest thing, but we did it, right? That's awesome. You guys are great. Thanks for all your help. Okay, so now let's see. Let's go back into our presentation. Sorry, all these Zoom things are getting in the way. Okay, cool. So we just did that. That was awesome. Let's do a little recap because that was a lot of information, and I'm trying to slow it down. I know it's going really fast. I'm just so excited about this. Okay, so we just talked about how to create and edit your store, how to update your menu, which we just did, and add pages to it, and then all the things relating to visually enhancing your store. So all the dragging and dropping, all the auditing of the other sites and all of that. Cool. That was a lot. I get it. So that was the big chunk of the whole presentation. Now I'm going to be honest, this stuff isn't great. Okay. But it's really important and we need to know it. And I'm just going to give you enough information right now. I'm not going to bore you to death, hopefully. I'm just going to give you enough information to make you dangerous. Okay. Cool. So let me move this guy. Okay. So if you need a specific thing, if your client needs a specific thing, if they're in a super niche, weird, whatever industry, and they're worried about it, don't worry, because there's more than likely an app for it. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of apps on the App Store. And it's insane. Some of them are free, which is great. Some of them are paid, which is also great. It really just depends on what you need. So don't worry about that. But if you are looking for apps, I always recommend doing things that will increase sales and for store management. So increasing sales, that's like SEO, that's store speed, things like that. And then store management, that's more like orders, fulfillment, things like that. Okay. So there are a lot of things that will impact your store speed that you might not be aware of. And I want to make sure that everybody just kind of is aware of them, because a lot of clients need all the things on their store because that will make everyone purchase. And that's not true. So tons of pictures. Well, yes, pictures are important, obviously. You don't need like 27 pictures for each product. I promise it's going to be okay. A live IG feed. So while I do absolutely recommend this, if your Instagram feed is crazy and there's so much going on all the time, maybe don't do that. Or maybe have a separate one just to put onto your Shopify store, because that's going to suck your store speed so fast. Reviews. Reviews are important. I've like seriously beaten the dead horse on this, but it's so important. So what you need to do is add the reviews lower in the page. If you remember in the beauty pages that we were just looking at, the reviews were really, really close to the bottom of the page. And that's for a reason. They take forever to load. So if they're up at the top of the page, it's going to take your web page forever to load to get those reviews in. But if they're at the bottom, then as the top page is moving, okay, there's more time for the reviews to load since they're at the bottom. Does that make sense? They're important. You need them there, but just place them in the right place. Okay. And then videos. I love videos. I mean, I think videos are awesome. I think everybody loves videos with TikTok and everything blowing up, but you have to figure out if they're really important for what you're trying to sell, or if you just like videos like me. So, all right. So this is kind of a pro tip. This is what I think about whenever I am talking to a client. So if you think that you need something on your store to increase the profitability, or if someone will purchase from you, ask yourself if the probability of the customer actually purchasing from you is worth the hindrance on your site speed. So kind of like I was just talking about, if you want to add in 27 videos about this really cool product that you have, that's great. But like hampering your site speed so much, is that going to be worth it? I don't think so. So that's just kind of something that you and your client have to go over. But I think that's really important to ask yourself to really figure out if it's important. Cool. So if you guys thought that was boring, there's so much more to come. Like metadata. Who loves metadata? I didn't get it when I first talked about it and I first heard about it. I'll be honest. It's like the data of the data. And that doesn't make any sense to me. Oh, Leandra, she's so cute. Sorry. So I think that I like to think of metadata as like an outline or a table of contents of what you're going to tell them. I don't know if that makes more sense to you, but the data of the data didn't make any sense to me. Still doesn't really. But that just kind of helps me figure out what it is. So here's an example. We kind of talked about this a little earlier. This is essentially metadata. So it tells you what site you're on, the overview of it, and then those start a virtual business and earn good money from home. I want to do that. I'm going to click on that link. Lauren, your metadata is on point. Love it. But if it says something like, I like cheese and I'm a dog person, I mean, I also like those things, but that's not going to help me start a virtual business. Does that kind of make sense? So metadata is really important and you need to make sure that it's edited. But like we mentioned in the, when we were creating the pages, you can do that down the bottom and that's great. Shipping, taxes, and orders. This sounds like it sucks. It's not great, but we're going to go fast. And like I said earlier, we're just going to do enough to make you dangerous. Okay. If you need to get into the nitty gritty with a client, that's awesome. I'm always here to support you. But right now you don't need to know all the details, just enough. Okay, cool. So shipping can be confusing and complicated. I actually just had someone reach out to me and they're like, I have everything set up except shipping and I don't know what to do and I'm scared. And I said, that's okay, because we're going to get through it together. It's really not that scary. Okay, guys, I know a lot of people think Shopify is terrifying and they want to do it, but they're so scared, but you can do it. I believe in you. Let's do it. Okay. So shipping carriers, those are like, let's say DHL, USPS, FedEx, all of those. Essentially, they are the ones that deliver your customers' orders, which makes sense, right? So luckily, Shopify partners with all of them, and they are integrated within Shopify. So you seriously just have to click a button. Like, I'm not kidding. I would like DHL. Okay, there you go. Awesome. It's not that bad. Shopify shipping is so easy. You can get your own shipping rates. You can print your labels right at home in your jammies. You can have it pack your shipments. You can get reduced rates. It's seriously not that bad. And really, it's all within just a few clicks of the button. Okay, so we have a few shipping options. I know personally, I love free shipping. If you put free in front of anything, like, I'm gonna need it. I need that now. So it usually has a really positive impact on how many people end up buying from you. It's great. So we also have the flat shipping rates. So what that really means is, let's say that you have products from like $1 to $10. So if you have a $1 product, it doesn't matter. Your shipping is going to be $5. If you have a $10 product, it doesn't matter. Your shipping is going to be $5. So really, it's just no matter what product you have, your shipping rate will always be the same. That's a flat rate shipping. So price and then weight, those are also really similar. So if you have, let's say, a 5-pound product, your shipping is going to be $10. If you have a 10-pound product, your shipping is going to be $15. Doesn't matter what else, no matter what, based on your weight, that is your rate. Does that make sense? And then same with price. Cool. So this is really important too, because shipping can be kind of scary, but your goal is to balance the cost with attractive pricing for your customers. So you don't want to have this crazy exorbitant shipping cost that, you know, your customers have to eat, because then they're not going to buy from you. But you also don't want to have to eat all of that shipping cost. So you have to find a sweet spot of where you're going to transfer some of that cost to your client while also having some of that cost built into your cost analysis. Does that make sense? It's just kind of an intricate balance. And sometimes it takes some tweaking, and that's okay. Cool. So we're just going to go over some definitions. I'm sure you guys know this, but again, just enough information to make it dangerous. So shipping labels include sender's information, tracking number, type of shipping service, all of that. You can also, it does most of the time cost money, but you can add in a tracking number and signature confirmation, which I think is really important. It might just be me, which I don't think so, but it might just be me. Whenever I have a package, I track that sucker. Like, I need to know where it is every second of every day. And if like I don't have an update within an hour, I'm gonna call them. I need to know where my stuff is. So I think that's really important. I think that's a really nice perk for your customers, but you don't have to have it, and it does normally cost extra money. So packing slips are just the summary of what's included in the package, excuse me, and then processing times. So if you're displaying an expected shipping rate next to your checkout, then you should also let your customers know about processing times. Now, a lot of people actually don't do that, which I think is surprising. So a lot of people think that if they have a shipping rate, then that's like 2 to 4 days, then that is when they will receive their package. But what they don't realize, and what a lot of people don't say, is that most businesses have at least 24 to 48 hours of processing time before that 2 to 4 day shipping time. Does that make sense? Not everybody's Amazon. You know, you can't ship next day. You can't get your candy tonight, even though my kids would love that. You have to wait for the shipping and the processing time. So a lot of people don't do that, but I think that really kind of builds your customer base if you're very transparent and honest about that upfront. If you're selling on Shopify, it's your responsibility to collect and remit remit tax on every sale that you make. But Shopify makes that super, super easy since it handles everything within itself. And a lot of the calculations are just automatically made, which is really sweet. So you're welcome. Also, you're welcome because now we're done with sales tax. You guys got really worried there was going to be like an hour-long presentation on sales tax, and it's not. You're welcome. We're all done. That's all you need to know to make it dangerous. It's important. There's just some super quick clickies that you can do. We're not going to get into that. Okay. Orders. This is really like the last thing. So let's move on. Let's do it. We're almost done. All right. So what happens when you receive an order? There are really 3 different stages of when you receive an order that are required within Shopify. So number 1, the order is placed. Number 2, you fulfill the order. And number 3, you archive it within Shopify. You always save it and you always archive it just in case something does happen, a shipment is lost or whatever. You always want to make sure that everything is archived in Shopify. It does it automatically, or you can set it up to do it automatically, so you don't even have to mess with it. Okay, it's awesome. So this is just kind of a pro tip that I think is really fun. I would recommend getting the Shopify app on your phone and enable the push notifications, because whenever you get an order, that it like pushes it on your phone and you're just like, whoa, I just made money. How cool is that? That's amazing. So, I mean, it's not important, but I think it's really cool. And I think you guys should do it. So here's a bonus section because we went through sales tax so fast. Here's customer service. So I would feel like I would be doing you a disservice if we didn't talk about customer service, because e-commerce really is about serving your customers. So if you have excellent customer service, that will really boost the retention of your customers. It will help with word of mouth, which is so important, and then encourage repeat customers. Okay, so here are just my top, I think like 5-ish, my customer service strategies that I think you should implement. It doesn't really even need to be for all e-commerce. I mean, most of these are, but just in general, make sure your customer service is like top notch. So provide clear return and shipping policies that you're prepared to uphold. We kind of went over that super fast, but again, they're already populated in Shopify, so just make sure that you're prepared to uphold that. Give your customers a way to contact you about your questions. So we already have that contact form that comes within the theme. So make sure that that is always there. The more ways to contact you and the open lines of communication, the better. So add a page of frequently asked questions regarding information about lead times, anything else that are kind of common questions that you will find. Use product review apps. There's that dead horse again. We really need to have reviews all the time. So make sure that there's easy ways to review, but also kind of get some tough skin. You might have some negative reviews, and that's okay. That will just help you grow and that will help you learn. There's always going to be trolls, right? And then finally, reward your loyal customers with discounts, sneak peeks, exclusive perks, things like that. That will just kind of boost your brand loyalty. Cool. Guys, we did it. This is the end. I'm not going to do any more bonus section.
Oh my gosh, Catherine, that was so helpful. Again, visual learner here. So thank you so much for taking the time to walk us through all of the back end of Shopify. Okay, before we wrap up, I have one last question for you. It's the biggest question that I get asked most frequently, hands down, like by a landslide, which makes sense because again, most of us are trying to solve a problem when we're starting a business. And that problem might be, how do I stay home with my baby? How do I quit my job? How do I make money from home? And in order to do that, we have to have clients. So what's worked best for you now that you've niched down to this Shopify niche in terms of finding clients? And do you have any specific tips that you can offer our viewers around landing clients?
Sure. Honestly, I just stick to your tips, Facebook groups.
Well, thank you.
I mean, that's it. That's how I get all my clients. I just make sure that I am visible in Facebook groups. I try to post consistently. I try to post helpful content. I know that a lot of people are like, oh, I'm an expert, give me $1 million and I'll make you rich or whatever. That's not going to get you any clients. I know it may feel like it will, but it doesn't. You just have to be helpful. And I know you've said it before, but I want to reiterate the fact that you can't give too much. You can't help someone too much. I guess the best way to put it is to give more than you take. You want to make sure that you're giving them a ton of information, a ton of help, because then when they are thinking of someone that helped them with their Shopify store or whatever, like, oh, well, Catherine was really helpful. I wonder, and she gave me all of that for free. I wonder what her paid offers would be like, or what she'll give me if I just, get her course or something like that. So really, if you just are helpful and consistent and show up a lot in Facebook groups like you've taught us, that's how I get all my clients.
That's awesome. Yeah. Getting visible, networking with other business owners. As far as I know, in my 8+ years of self-employment, there's not really a way around it. You can't dodge it. That is amazing. Thank you so much for everything you've taught us about Shopify, not Spotify. I'm going to be doing that all day now. I think that is so darling. I love it so much. For anybody else who fell in love with you and fell in love with Shopify, is there a place where they can come connect with you, get to know you more, and learn from you?
Absolutely. So I have a free Facebook group. It is called Successful Shopify Entrepreneurs.
Awesome.
And we just kind of go through all of your questions. I do some trainings. Like I said, I try to give more content and free content. So if you have any questions or anything, just feel free to join.
That's awesome. And if you're looking for Facebook groups to network in that are just awesome places on the internet, the Free Mama Movement Facebook groups always here for you as well. Catherine will be there. I'm there. 40,000 really cool people are there ready to help you get started in your business. And we can't wait to see what you guys do with Shopify and your virtual assistant niche. It's going to be amazing. Catherine, thank you so much for being here.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me, Lauren. Always a pleasure.